The first one is I actually managed to beat the first Banner Saga. So I followed up on Age of Boredom's. Age of Boredom's. What's the word? Oh God, my brain. His recommendation for Banner Saga, like he kind of sold me on his Banner Saga 2 kind of first impression. So if you didn't see it or listen to it 2 weeks ago, then go to YouTube and check it out. And I played Banner Saga. So like I said, let me give you my first impressions. So Banner Saga, I really, really love the art style. It's like hand drawn, very colorful, it like really pops on the Switch's handhelds on the screen. Looks really cool. I love the character designs. I love the design of the monsters and the giants. Is it the Val? I think they're called. Yeah, so that was really cool. The battles are difficult, but when you learn how the game wants you to play them, they become very challenging and fun. Example is like what I learned is when you fight the dredge, that if you kind of like group them all together and you hit them with an attack, it basically like chains the attack onto everyone. So you learn very quickly, okay, I need to get them in I need to get them in like a circle and just like kind of circle them and just keep hitting them, and eventually, I hit one guy, and if there's 4 guys stood next to him, all of them are going to take damage too. So that was really cool. It kind of turned the game turned it from being like a tile-based, turn-based strategy game into kind of like almost like a puzzle game in some type of way. So that was good. The story was really good. I love the world Stoic games have created, and can't wait to play the following games and see how they build on it and build on like the kind of story I sort of created. Like I say, however, I really did feel like towards the end the game drags a little bit. Like you're spending most of your time just watching your caravan go from one side of the screen to the other and hoping that your resources don't run out. So yeah, I kind of felt like maybe the game went on a little bit longer, or some of these like they kind of really just felt like fancy loading screens to me, that you're just kind of watching this image move from one side of the screen to the other, and they do look really, really beautiful. Like, don't get me wrong, like I said, the art style is amazing, and especially when you find the godstones, they look so incredible. But towards the end, that's really all I felt like I was doing. Like I was going from like one short story beat for 5 minutes of watching my caravan move to then another short story beat, and then eventually into like a battle. So yeah, it kind of gets a little bit boring, or it got a little bit boring for me. I also think that the enemy types aren't that varied. After your 4th or 5th battle, I feel like you've seen pretty much every enemy in the game, and you know what their weaknesses are, and you know how to beat them. And another one was like kind of like Telltale games. I don't know how much your choices actually affect the story. Like I feel like the game kind of it starts in one place, and then it kind of like bulges out with all your different choices where you go, but then it comes back again to pretty much the same finishing point, and there is like one big decision that obviously affects the game at the very end. Basically there's like a death, and it's like, who do you choose, this person or this person? And I think that's like the only real main effect that kind of maybe goes on into the second game. Like I don't know, I haven't played the second game yet. I'll have to ask Age of Boredom, but other than that, like I can't really think of any influential decisions I made that really affected anything. Everything kind of worked itself out at the end, apart from this one big decision, this one big death. And the final thing is, like, I thought the final boss battle was way too hard. Like, it was getting to the point where I was like so excited to finish the game and be like, oh, I'm so glad that it's finished and it's done, and like I can move on to the next thing. But this boss battle just kept going on and on and on, and it wasn't like I say, it wasn't challenging. It was just frustrating. Like, there's like 2 parts of the battle where you basically get his armor down and shoot him with this special weapon, and then he gets all his armor back again and all his health back again, and then you have to fight him again. But he does like so much more damage the second time. So you basically, your characters are dying in one hit. He's still got all his armor and health, and I'm just like, what's the point in this? Like, it's not like a cool way to end the game. It just made it feel like it dragged a little bit. But overall, I did like enjoy the game. There's like a lot I've kind of talked down. Like I'm really excited to see what is it episode 2 or the game 2 and game 3 entail, because I want to see how Stoic have like built on the foundations of Banner Saga 2 and what they've added to it, and how they've added to the story, and maybe, you know, how the art style like looks in the later games, like if they've just kept it exactly the same or if they've updated it again. So I'm really excited to see what Banner Saga 2 is. And yeah, if you guys have played Banner Saga, let me know what you think. I'm really interested, especially about the story, like what you think about the stories. If maybe I just had like a very vanilla kind of experience with the story, maybe I wasn't that decisive and therefore didn't make any, you know, any like really important decisions. So that's why my story didn't feel that like different from kind of what the main story should be. But yeah, so let me know what you think.